a few years ago. I had a moment with you. There was a documentary at the time. It was Preston and history. We did history with you. Said now that we're talking about him.
Very painful, because we thought we could stay longer with him and he was still healthy because he looked after himself so well, and that made him to have a long life, and we were just disturbed that this happened to him. But there's nothing we can do. The things we can just remember, what are the things this screen has taught us, particularly me, because I was the first, he made me the first captain. I've never been a captain before, but when I was at Sundowns, and then started Sundowns, then he made me a captain there, and I've stayed like that as a captain, and they still call me skipper even long after I've been a captain. So and I've always been seeing him, but also I've always been spending time with him, because and the only thing which I'm disturbed that he didn't do, and I was on his case, is to write something about Pian and Shusha. We're going to fabricate now as to what he meant, because it was going to be authentic in terms of telling the story. I know Amy told it and told it, but it's nicer at times hold the horse's mouth. But this guy should have been given a doctorate. Who has ever started the philosophy and implemented it?
Which shows that
and a philosophy in football where it tells the story of and all the coaches, when they've got a little bit of a confusion, they refer back to that system. You see it at Sundowns. It's a point of reference. They go back to that. And in the national team, if there's got a problem, it's a point of reference. And I would have thought one of the universities could have, but there's still a time posthumously to be able to do that, because that's really honoring something which is going to be, I don't think that thing is going to end, because it's the way South Africans should play. And this is how it is designed. So it's just nice, and to see the people so united in the funeral. The CAF president is here, Dr. Jordan is here, and Dr. Koza delivers a masterpiece. To say I can't speak after my president. A masterpiece of us. When we get into leadership, we seem to get excited, and he just gives us that to show us that leaders need to respect each other. Not only in football, we know, and even in politics, people want another president. He's no longer a president, and there's problems. But these are the things which we learn as we grow from leaders whom we respect. And Stan is one of those who made us today to be so united.
His former assistant, says the term the Brazilians, the nickname the Brazilians, come from him.
Yeah, I'm not too sure, because when Zola started the club, it was in he joined Sun, I think 1984, 85, and the 86 when we changed the colors of Sundowns to I'm not too sure whether it was, but it was in conjunction with Zola Mahobe, because Zola Mahobe was always visionary in terms of looking at things and what a befitting way of making Sundowns to play in the colors of Brazil. At that time when we were there, we used to watch Brazil playing, and with Josimar, the top players there, and we used to associate ourselves with them in the 86 as we were playing, because we knew at that time. And they went to Italy after in 1987, 88. So the club has already been there at that time. The club has been operating and has been wearing the same colors at that time. So those are the things which we can say maybe. So I don't know, because I also admired Zola Mahobe a lot, and how visionary he was, and how Stan. But you know what we don't know is that Stan recruited me while he was at Giant Black. He was not at Sundowns. He recruited me for Sundowns, and he told me about Zola. I didn't know about Zola. I was playing for Vets by then. Then he recruited me, so he could help other clubs. Stan is not like a guy who only helps one club and focus on one club. He speaks to a lot of people. If you can find about Polokwane City, you can speak to go and speak to Johnny, and there's so much content there. Just go and interview him in terms of the role he has played in making sure that Polokwane City becomes what it is through the influence of Screamer. They were very, very, very close as well. So Stan used to be like that. He doesn't. Yeah, it was something else.
Skipper, you were part of that social piano stuff. I guess obviously the younger people won't understand. Can you just briefly tell us what it was, how you guys played, and if you can try, maybe it will be difficult, but to say it the way he used to say it, Brasten, the way he explained it.
Yeah, Brasten, he wanted to build. A lot of clubs in the past were kicking the ball forward, but Brasten wanted us to build from the back. And then when we were building from the back, and then when he went to Italy, he found the concept. But by then we were starting, we didn't know that it was Shine and Pillow. And when he came back, he said, we play like that. So the players who were very key at that time was Lucky Mulife, and was called Paresi, because of the Paresi in Italy, which spoke about today, the centre back. So, and then he was building everything, one of the talented centre backs. And then I was at the left back, because I was as well as a midfielder. And then on the right hand side it was Iwi Kambule, and in the center again it was Brix Midao. But one of the key people was Ace Kusa. Ace Kusa had come from Orlando Pirates with Vincent Makroti and Kagiso Mohale. And Ace became the key. Everything started with him, with Rabim Rape. And at the back, I was one of those who could build from the back. So, but I would think the key person was Ace Kusa and Lucky Mulife. People may say maybe different, but when I was playing with them, I could see Lucky could play a 5-yard ball. He could play a 30-yard ball and clip it into somebody's foot or somebody's chest. So, and if we were to play it in that way, so hence I always believe Screamer could have been the right person to say what made him to start there and everything and implement it. But the way he was telling us, I still remember we were playing against Amazulu. And Clive Parker was at Amazon, and they were trailing, and they said, "What is this thing of piano and shoe shine?" Stan was now. We started thinking he was mocking us, and then we started building from the back a lot, and we ended up beating them. And at the end of the game, we said, "That's this piano and shoe shine." We're telling Clive, but Clive was laughing at that time. He said, "No, he played a good game." But it is the way that Sundowns is playing now, that Rulan is taking over, that Pizza is taking over, is the point of reference of Screamer Tshabalala.
And how he used to say it.
Yeah?
How he used to say it.
Bian. You know, like Stimapera isn't the name like nigger, it's come from America, because they like to mimic the people in America. They say they were niggers, you know, hey nigga. And when they came back here, you know, like, but because I respected him, I couldn't say nigger. I would say bra nigger. that's why I always, even now, I used to call him Brother. So it was something else, man. We're just lucky to be around when a guy like this was around as well.
Bramek, do you think we as a country, with all the stories that are coming out, do you think we've done enough to show him that while he was still alive? Have we honored him enough to understand that he's one of our legend? I mean, one of his innovations, like you're rightfully saying, has seen Sundowns conquer the continent and some parts of the world. Have we done enough to have just that time to say thank you?
You know, from the clubs themselves, the clubs have done a lot for Brastel. If you look at what Dr. Koza has always looked after, if you hear what Monife Oliphant was saying, if you hear what Kaizer Chief has been doing, but besides that, we have not. That's why I'm also, in a way, challenging the universities to look at these things. I know they are coming up now nicely. Something is coming for Pizzo as well. So, but there is a lot, because this sport is too big, and it needs to. We must speak about it so that we can create more money into the sport. Because the more we do that, the more we're going to make the sport more accessible to other people, and also there'll be a lot of money coming to the game and build the game, because it's a sport which changes lives of people. You know, if you see a player after he has not been nobody and becomes a professional player like Thulan Srero, what happens in the family in terms of how it changes the whole life in that. And when you so those are the things we need to do more. We need to do more to acknowledge the people we have.
Thanks, Kiba.